We're just having a good time here. Welcome in to the AJA Sports Show. This is the Football Feast. We are mostly just winging it.
Yeah.
What's going on, Jay? What's going on, Andrew?
What's up, boys?
And
oh boy,
rough Sunday. We'll bounce back.
Yeah. I mean, that's good analysis.
Yeah, just Chiefs. First primetime game of the season didn't go as planned, but that's okay. Again, setback. Just setting up the comeback. I guess it was okay. We get back on the ball next week.
Started hot. Started absolutely on fuego with Tyron making an unbelievable return. You could tell he was gassed though, bro. We were talking about this during the game. He's never been a dude to shy away from contact. And not that he was shying away from contact, but he was kind of shying away from contact a little bit. There was a couple people who were like that. Even Frank Clark. Frank Clark, he didn't play week 1. He came in this week. We'll get to it, man. We'll get to it. Anyway, thank y'all for being here. Football's back. That's all I care about. You know what I'm saying? At least we get to talk some football. We got more football on tonight. Green Bay's probably going to smack the living snot out of Detroit. And if they don't.
What's the line? 12 points right now?
11.5. 11.5. Yeah.
You could probably find it for like 10.5 somewhere, but yeah.
I'll give you the DK right now. DK Sportsbook. I'll tell you what they got the plus minus at. But yeah, 11.5 was the betting line right now in favor of Green Bay. A little underrated storyline. We got the St. Browns playing each other. Amaron and what's his brother's name? I'm blanking on his brother's name. But the St. Browns, they're playing each other today. One plays for Detroit as a receiver, and the other one obviously plays for Green Bay. Right now, it's 11.5 points. Oh, my God, for the Lions. Dude, it's plus 435. So, I'm sorry. Wait a minute.
Lions are wearing some all-white uniforms that I am a big fan of. Just saying. Big uniform guy in the NFL. Did we ever do the uniform tier list? We did that already, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the main ones, though, I think it was.
On the home jerseys, maybe we should do some like alternates or something because that'd be great. Aaron Rodgers got the long hair flowing. He's gonna probably rip them apart tonight. Yeah, the Detroit Lions. By the way, it's Equanimous, Johnny. That's the other one.
Equanimous and Amaron.
Yeah. Hey Jay, how did you not remember Equanimous?
Oh, yeah. Go figure, dude. What up, nerds? Hey, Lord Lizzie.
What up, Elizabeth?
What's up? What's up, hard worker? Okay. So let's do some housekeeping. This is the AJ Sports Show. We're bringing another Football Feast episode. This is week 2 recap of the NFL season. It was pretty awesome yesterday, and Thursday night's game didn't disappoint either. We haven't seen you guys since yesterday, so we look totally different. But some of us feel a little different. The big news, the big stuff, the big things happening around the league. We'll talk about those first. So. We will recap some of the other games, but we can talk about Sunday night first, right? Let's just get the bad juju out of the way. The Ravens barely edged out the Kansas City Chiefs, in which was just a weird, no holds barred match of just players doing whatever they want. Travis Kelce just acting like he's invisible and can't be touched. He's Violet incredible. He's got a force field around him. People can't touch him or bring him down.
Yeah, smooth operator, baby.
You have Lamar Jackson acting like a fool, flipping into the end zone, and I'm here for the chaos. So hurt yourself, buddy. You have Patrick Mahomes vibing out to Ray Lewis. It was a pretty interesting and fun game and entertaining game. What were your major takeaways from the game, though, guys?
I feel like Johnny is going to go ahead and give us a bit of a whirlwind on his, so I'll go first. I'll stay level-headed here. But let's get to what Ryan said first. The Vikings kicker needs to be cut immediately. LOL. Yeah, we'll get to that. That's what allowed me to stay when we get to the survivor pick. That's what allowed me to stay as the lone survivor. We'll get to that in a little bit. But thank you for the Vikings kicking woes. Blair Walsh is rolling over in his rocking chair right now because he's not in the NFL, but that's a former kicker. Anyway, yesterday didn't go as planned. I guess Patrick Mahomes was eventually going to lose in September at some point. He was eventually going to, he wasn't going to go his whole career without being perfect in a month. The fact that he went 11-0 and did this kind of had this start to his career for September is, audacious amongst all the other stuff that he's been able to accomplish in his career. And the AFC quarterbacks are just absolutely, kind of the cream of the crop right now. Aaron's playing tonight, so we'll see if he can pick up from his saw a terrible performance last week. But Lamar was pretty incredible, honestly. The read option scheme had the Chiefs defense kind of, looking for answers. They weren't going to find any, especially given being down a linebacker, but that should be no excuse, as we mentioned before hopping on here. The Ravens were without a lot of key players. They were able to do what Cleveland wasn't able to do last week. They were able to make sure they stayed on the field, not turn the ball over. And when it mattered most, even Patrick Mahomes threw a pick in the late third quarter. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, in field goal range, a minute to go. Odafe Oweh pokes the ball out. Got to secure it a little bit better. Definitely the blocking, you wish it was a little bit better as well. But, great, good players make great plays. We don't know if, Odafe Oweh is a great player just yet. So, but crucial play. And then they went for it on 4th and 2. And honestly, there was when it was 4th and 2, from the 3rd and 7, and they got to 4th and 2, and they're like, you're going to go for it. There wasn't really any doubt in my mind. I was already convinced it was over. They were going to get it. We had no answer for them to stop the run. The good thing is that they had no answer to stop the offense, which has been the same thing for a couple of years now with the Chiefs. But defense has to pick it up. Hopefully, as seasons have gone on, the Chiefs have shown that they can collectively come together and play better team defense. So hopefully that's the case this season. It's going to be hard to rely on a rookie linebacker, Nick Bolton, though, to be the only one to stop the run. You got to be a team effort to commit to it. So hats off to the Ravens. Hats off to Lamar. Got his first win. I like the guy. Don't like him as much as I like Patty. But, hard to swallow. We're back at it next week, though.
I'll add real quick before Jay talks. That interception by Mahomes wasn't good, unfortunately. Also, Josh Allen threw some pretty stupid balls too.
We haven't seen him make a bad decision like that in quite some time. Like a very poor decision. It was 3rd and 5. We're on plus side of the field, not in field goal range, but a punt and some field position could have changed the tide and dictated a different outcome. But you live with it, and he owned up to it. So just got to be better next week. But Jay, I'll let you go from here and tee off, my friend.
There's really not a lot of teeing off to do. The Chiefs tend to do this often, and good teams tend to do this even more so, it seems, on regularity, which is even more infuriating. Where, this game should have been over. You have 2 interceptions in the first quarter, a house call on the first drive of the game. There's no way on this green earth that Andy Reid's going to tell you this should even have been a contest. But the Baltimore Ravens are an unbelievable football team. I have them winning the AFC North. And for good reason, right? They're very good. They're missing key pieces, so no excuses on the Kansas City Chiefs side. They were relatively healthy. Obviously, they had a few guys out, but again, no excuses. The Ravens did an absolutely phenomenal job at the beginning of that 4th quarter, going on that 8-play drive. On 8-minute drive. That's what you like to do against the Chiefs. A lot of people talk about that in terms of ball control, and they just look at total time of possession, and they think that as long as you win the time of possession, it's going to bode well for you. And most of the time that's correct. But the Baltimore Ravens did a great job after obviously digging themselves in an early hole of using the time of possession to actually their advantage. And like I said, that was huge in the 4th quarter there. Patrick Mahomes sitting on the sideline for 8 minutes of game time. That's almost like 30 minutes of real time. Doesn't really, the Chiefs offense has shown a lot of times it doesn't matter to them. They can come out and score in a single play. But the more that you can do that, the more sustainability you have in the run game that way. That drive was like 10 plays, and I'm pretty sure 9 of them were rushes. I think they threw the ball 1 time on that drive. So, this has been an MO for the Chiefs. It's been a problem for a while. One thing I found curious is when you look at the salary cap numbers, the Kansas City Chiefs spend the most money in the NFL on the defensive line. The most. Not top 5. They spend the most. We spent 25% of our cap on the defensive line, and it was absolutely in shambles yesterday. Our best player Chris Jones was literally pretty much a non-factor yesterday. And again, you got to tip your hats to the Ravens. They did a great job of forcing him to be the read guy more often than not. I mean, this triple option wishbone thing that they do, man, is hard to defend. I was telling Andrew, as a defender, it puts you in a bind because you're always wrong, right? They're going to out-leverage you. And with the speed that Lamar Jackson has, you're going to be wrong 90% of the time. And Chris Jones is transitioning to playing that 3 tech, right? We saw the few times they put Frank Clark in the decision-making position. That's what they call it when they run the triple option. They put him as the decision maker, so then Lamar reads off of him and then decides from there. And Frank Clark is a traditional 3 tech. So he was able to play it very well, slow play it, don't make a decision, force the quarterback to have a split second of indecision, and then once that is, you attack. Right? And that's not what we saw from Chris Jones. Chris Jones did a really bad job of taking the cheese a lot of the time. And again, it's not like, and I say bad job, but it's not really a bad job. You have to, right? Most vulnerable is the guy with the football. So 9 out of 10 times, I'm going to attack the guy with the football and then worry about the secondary position later. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has never fumbled in his career. So it only makes 100% sense for it to be in the fourth quarter in the nationally televised game. That's 100% how that goes, right? I mean, Andrew mentioned it yesterday. Jamal Charles, Denver Broncos vibes back in like 2018, which really sucked. I think it was even before that, like 2016 or something. It wasn't Peyton was over there. Listen, I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs are an unbelievable football team. If you watch the power rankings and keep track of stupid stuff like that, they'll probably be like 5 or something because people are dumb and you lose a game and you drop. This is a game that the Kansas City Chiefs should have won. No bones about it. Very frustrating as a Chiefs fan. But at the end of the day, I mentioned to the boys before we got on here, holy crap. If the Kansas City Chiefs don't come in ready to play every single week, it doesn't matter who they're playing. You're playing the Chiefs from now on, and it's the Super Bowl for these teams, bro. I mean, literally. If you saw the post game by the Ravens in their locker room, Lamar Jackson's on Instagram Live. Vibing out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, good for them. I'm glad you won a football game. It's week 2. It's your first win against the Kansas City Chiefs. All the credit goes to Baltimore. But yeah, Chiefs have some looking in the mirror to do, and you have to be able to stop the run at the end of the day, especially when you have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. You can't allow him to sit there for that long.
Molakola asked if we were going to talk about yesterday or today. We're going to talk about both. So hang around if you're still here. I would have never picked the Ravens over the Chiefs. Yeah. That's it's a hard sell for sure.
I mean, yeah, most people would agree with you. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, absolutely. Especially last night. Like, they were in bad shape. They're obviously banged up. You know, I think the Chiefs were the team that should have won that game, given all the circumstances.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, your favorites every week, probably. So.
Yeah, I think almost every game, but yeah.
So maybe not against this guy. I don't know. Just kidding. But the NFL future looks bright. We got this young quarterback on Tampa Bay. He's young in terms of the median age in Florida. He's at the ripe age of 44, going on retirement. But looks like he'll have a fruitful rest of his career in Florida. I hope not. So some takeaways from this game: the Buccaneers just destroyed the Falcons, 48-25. Tom Brady threw 5 touchdowns. So Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk, double Gronk scores. Gronk looked really good. I mean, he retired, and he didn't need to retire because he probably was just like, hey, Tom, I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to do my own thing, and then I'll meet you somewhere else, wherever you go. But yeah, I mean, you have any thoughts about this game?
I mean, the game wasn't really – yeah, you're right. The game wasn't very close. Brady they jumped out to a 14-0 lead. Then Brady fumbled, and the Falcons got a quick touchdown, and then they jumped back out to a 28-10 lead. And then that was followed up in the fourth quarter by the Falcons were able to shrink it a little bit to a 28-25 game, make it a little close, and then Matt Ryan proceeded to throw 2 pick sixes to Carlton Davis on back-to-back drives. Put the game away. The Bucs probably could have scored if they got the ball back. They were kind of just trying to run out the clock a little bit, but the Falcons aren't a good football team. Kyle Pitts looked good. That's one saving grace if you're a Falcons fan. Kyle Pitts had a couple of nice plays. Looked really good after the catch. Took a couple mean hits, but was able to come right back up. And I mean, for the Falcons, it was just a matter of keeping it close, and they did for a little bit. But the Bucs the Bucs are going to keep humming, and they just got so much depth everywhere. Obviously, they needed their back end is where their back end defensively is where they need the most help. But as long as they can stay healthy, this is going to be a team that's just consistently just like the Chiefs and the Bills and all these teams around the league that are just going to be top heavy with the quarterback and favored in most of their games, and they look good. Gronk looks really good. Looks just like the third best tight end, like he's always been when Travis Kelce's been healthy. So nice to see that. I'm just kidding. I'm trolling so bad.
Oh boy, I don't know about that. Yeah.
Jay, were you able to catch some of this game?
Yeah, I did.
Any thoughts? Any thoughts about Tampa Bay's defense? I mean, I know Atlanta has no defense, so Tampa Bay was able to take, or Tom Brady was able to take advantage of that. But I mean, the Dallas game was close. I mean, they let the Falcons, who played like crap last week, put up 25. You have any thoughts about their D?
I mean, I don't think that's more predicated on the Tampa Bay defense not playing well. I mean, obviously they had a few big turnovers, and obviously those led to touchdowns. But Matt Ryan, people want to smack on the Falcons. The Falcons are not good, but they do still have Matt Ryan. They still do have Calvin Ridley, and Mike Davis is a formidable running back in the NFL. He's fine, and obviously Kyle Pitts had a nice little coming out day, and so I mean they were going to put up points in division rivalry. Matt Ryan's seen the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a long time now. Granted, it's not the same coaching staff, but Matt Ryan is a former Super Bowl. I mean, he almost won the damn Super Bowl if it wasn't for Tom Brady going absolutely nuclear. So, yeah, I know. I mean, I think this is pretty much what we expected. I mean, I stacked the snot out of this game in DFS, and it was going exactly my way until, obviously the 2 pick sixes. I was hoping that dragged out a little more, and Matt Ryan maybe had another touchdown or two. But Tampa Bay, kind of like the meme from the guy who's the former Arizona Cardinals coach. God, I'm blanking on his name right now. They are who they thought we were. I mean, Tampa Bay's unbelievable. They're going to win 14 games, 15 games this season. Gronkowski, he's got 6 touchdowns in the last 3 games. 2 in the Super Bowl, 2 week 1, 2 week 2. Good Lord. I mean, what is going on right now? And super athletic ones. If you saw the one that he caught at the goal line, dude's full dived, extended. Looks like he's still peak form. So go off, Gronk. Yeah, Tampa's pretty damn good. That's pretty much the analysis left for that game. So
I'm with you. Who's going to lose to? I think they'll drop a couple of games this year. Let me pull up their schedule real quick, and
you can never really tell with teams like this, though. It's like nobody expected the Chiefs to lose last night, and they were asking the same questions about the Chiefs, like, who were they going to lose to? Honestly, there were probably 3 or 4 teams that you could have said this about coming into that was Dennis Green, Johnny. Thank you, Ryan, for that. There was probably 3 or 4 teams. One of the ones we're going to see tonight, the Packers, where you really when we were doing our schedule predictions, the Packers, Bills, Chiefs, and Bucks, you were almost kind of doing your picks, and you're like, where are they going to lose? What games are they going to lose? And you're never going to know, and you're probably going to be wrong when they do end up losing, because most games you're going to pick them. So they'll lose a game. I mean, I don't think any team, especially with an extra game, going to go.
The Bills were they were 5-point favorites week 1 against the Steelers. The Chiefs were 6-point favorites, depending on when you got that line yesterday against the Ravens. I mean, it's a 17-game season. People are going to lose ball games. Next week, they play the Rams in LA. Would anyone be surprised at all if they lost that game?
No,
I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to lose. I had to pick right now. I would pick for them to win. But I mean, they play in a division with the Saints, who obviously, depending on what week you're looking at, they look like crap last week, and they look like crap this week, and last week they blow out the freaking Packers. So this is the NFL now, dude. I mean, there's a lot of possessions, a lot of volume. It's pretty crazy. I'm looking at that Rodgers throwing some games on purpose. Oh my God.
Yeah, you're the conspiracy guy, Ace. Where do you stand on that?
Exactly.
That's exactly how I stand on it. This is exactly how I stand on it. Oh, no one can tell me otherwise. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers has a great game today, because he's playing against a JV looking coach team. I don't care. Aaron Rodgers does what's best for Aaron Rodgers. If he wants to win a game, this game today, he'll win it. If he doesn't, he won't. If he wants to look good, he'll look good.
The Green Bay Packer defense allowed Jameis to throw 5 touchdowns. Is he in cahoots with the defense too? Is he sliding them a slice of his check or what? What are we doing?
Jameis Winston in week 1 had the least amount of passing yards for 5 touchdowns. It's just like, oh, that guy's casually throwing 10-yard passes. Let's just let them catch everything for a touchdown. I don't buy that. It's all in cahoots, but I mean, whatever. Aaron, I called it. Aaron Rodgers is gonna have a shit season, and everybody is gonna be a little bit behind the 8 ball because I am the Swami. I believe in birds.
Hey, after week one, you are absolutely correct. After week 1, you are 100. Bye, Amanda. Thank you for being here. Good luck at work. Tell them not to work you too hard.
Okay,
yeah.
So just real quick, just because I pulled up the schedule, I ain't gonna do that for no reason. Okay, they play the Rams next week. That could be a Rams victory. But if you look at the next games after that, it's the Patriots, Dolphins, Eagles, Bears, Saints, Washington football team, Giants, Colts, Falcons. I mean, there's not a lot of big L's on that. So, like Jay was mentioning, it's just going to be, or Andrew was mentioning, it's just football is football. You'll
Buffalo.
lose.
Yeah, I mean, they play Buffalo. I mean, it's at home, but if I told you Josh Allen went nuclear for 3 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, and they end up winning by a touchdown, is that something surprising? No, probably not.
Well, I mean, even in their division, the Bucks play close games. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's a good point too. I mean, again, the game got to 28-25 yesterday. It shouldn't have been close, but they were able to close on defense. So again, like. They're professional football teams. Anything can happen. Any given Sunday. Literally, it's cliche, but it's true.
For what it's worth, this is the same 22 lineup, same 22 lineup this year as it did last year, right? This team lost to Chicago last year, 20-19 in week 5 or something. Yeah. They lost to the Saints. The Saints whipped them in the middle of the season. They lost to the Rams last season. The Chiefs beat them last season. So I mean, it just because they won the Super Bowl doesn't mean they're going to be favored every week. Or they will be favored every week, but it doesn't mean they're going to win every week.
Exactly.
So,
well said.
Yeah. And anyways, okay. So our next little thing here is the Seahawks got Rick rolled. So this game was pretty much looking like it may be a oh my god, I'm forgetting a Seahawks win, right? And then who's the other team that they're playing? But yeah, Derrick Henry had his ridiculous run. I mean, he's obviously stupid ridiculous. I don't know how to explain it otherwise. He wasn't great in the first 2 quarters. They were down. They were down right going into the second half. He bulldozed his way for a touchdown. He threw that guy onto the floor like he was a paper airplane that somebody, or no, not paper airplane, a paper crumped up ball that someone was saying Kobe to, and someone walks by and says, "You got shacked," or whatever. But yeah, the Seahawks kind of fell apart there. They're the last place so far right now in the NFC West. And then the Titans defense kind of played okay at the very end of the game. They looked god awful like for the first 2 quarters and for like the last game they played. But yeah. Anyways, a long-winded thing, but Derrick Henry is awesome. Any thoughts? Or I can.
I played Derrick Henry, and I was gonna wait until I got a chance to talk. I played against Derrick Henry almost as I was watching the points pile up. I had like a 60-point lead, and I'm watching the points pile up in the 4th quarter. And for this is one of those things about like where Russell Wilson for me, like where I was a bit critical on him, where he does this thing where he just usually in the second half of the season where he falls apart. Yesterday they had 3 opportunities to go get scores. They were up 30-23 in the 4th quarter, and they just couldn't come through and get those scores. They missed a PAT. They had 10 penalties for 100 yards, which is a very uncharacteristic of a Pete Carroll football team. So it's just they weren't very disciplined. They allowed Tennessee to come back in this game against basically a practice squad defensive back room over there in Tennessee, because they literally gashed the Titans for 2 pass plays where Freddie Swain and Tyler Lockett, shout out to Tyler Lockett, fantasy team, touchdown back-to-back weeks, literally had 15 yards of space with no people around them. So, I mean, the Derrick Henry effect, this is the perfect caption you got on screen. Derrick Henry was an absolute force in the second half, put up over 230 rushing yards for 3 touchdowns. And that ended up being the deciding factor. They went to overtime, and again, shouldn't have ever got there because of missed PAT. But this is a game that the Seahawks probably couldn't have afforded to lose. It was a home game. They went into Indianapolis last week, played really well, came back home. Probably expected them to do the same thing, but especially in a tough division, this is a game that you wanted to, make sure you secure, considering the Cardinals' luck and getting, missing a field goal and still winning. So. Yeah, ideal for the Seahawks, but I don't expect it to derail them that much. For the Titans, I don't know. I think this is a bit of an anomaly for them. I don't think they're that good, but
I mean, I think the Titans are fine. I have them hovering about right at 500. And this is what 500 teams do. They get smacked in week 1, and then in week 2, they win a game that they probably don't have any business winning. Seattle is very efficient most of the times offensively. Obviously, you have a new offensive coordinator now, so we're seeing how that plays out. But, I mean, Russell Wilson had 28 pass attempts in the first game, and 4 of those were for touchdowns. What you can't have happen in the way that you lose football games is when you have 5 possessions in the second half, including overtime if you're Seattle, and you have 4 punts. It's not going to get the job done. They scored 1 touchdown. Obviously, Derrick Henry went absolutely nuclear. A few stats from this year so far. Just in week 2, if you look at the rushing leaders, Derrick Henry obviously led the league in rushing with 182. Second was Derrick Henry after contact with 160, and then third was Dalvin Cook. Yeah, dude had 160 rushing yards after contact yesterday. If you look at just the season so far, Derrick Henry leads. He's number 1 right now in rushing yards this season. Number 2 is Derrick Henry after contact with 201, and then third is Joe Mixon. Just not after contact, just Joe Mixon. So it's literally freakish. I don't know if in Alabama, when they go to Alabama, what types of stuff what types of nutrition they're giving these guys. But holy Toledo, Najee Harris had a nasty stiff arm yesterday too against Oakland. I mean, it's just stiff arm central from Alabama running backs nowadays. But anyway, it was a game that Seattle shouldn't afford to lose, especially in that division, like you guys said.
So I'm not gonna compare Derrick Henry to some of the all-time greats. Right away. But although he potentially has a shot at that, but he's putting up some stats that are just ridiculous. Like there's not many running backs in NFL history who run for 150 plus yards in a game and score twice, especially now. Like you have him, then you have AP, and then. You have to go to maybe to LT, right, from San Diego Chargers. But, I mean, do you think he has a shot to live in that upper echelon with, like, Barry Sanders, Jim Brown, Gale Sayers?
It's absolutely hilarious that you say that, Asa, because literally I had another stat that I found today that is for most games with 150 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Number 1 is Jim Brown with 13. Number 2 is LaDainian Tomlinson with 12. And 3 is Derrick Henry. He's sandwiched right in there with Barry Sanders, who also has 10. Derrick Henry has 10. Eric Dickerson has 9. Emmitt Smith has 9. I mean, he's one of the pure best running backs we've ever seen, just from a pure running standpoint. Now, obviously, I've had issues with him, catching passes out of the backfield and protecting in the backfield against blitzes. Most people do. I mean, he had 7 targets yesterday. That's his career high, and it's not even close. Oh, if you think, I mean, it's just so funny how we were talking about this the other day, and I was talking about, in PPR leagues, it's Christian McCaffrey, not even close, but in regular leagues, it's Derrick Henry. And then Derrick Henry proceeds to have 7 catches week 2. But if you think he's going to have 7 catches every week, then by all means, it's not even a question, him over Christian McCaffrey. But, to answer your question, I think he's up in that echelon already. And, I mean, a lot of those running backs, it's not like basketball where we have to also put your wins in that underlying threshold there. I mean, there's only so much winning a running back attributes to, right? I mean, if you have a good running back, you hope to win more games. But if your team's not very good, we had Jamal Charles, Kansas City Chiefs. He was a top 5 running back for the entire time he was in the NFL and playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. He did not win. We were absolutely garbage. So that just goes to show you how you could still be absolutely unbelievable and super efficient. Jamal Charles is one of the best yards per carry averages in NFL history. He's like top 5. But at the end of the day, quarterbacks, and there's a lot more that goes into winning football games than that. So that's all I'll say.
Okay. I hope you guys whet your appetite enough. Let's go to the main course. Okay, so today's main course is brought to you by AJ Sports Show. Just gather around the table, everyone. We got some weirdly darkened cooked turkey or chicken in the bottom right corner there. We have some fresh, not cooked pumpkins on the left. So what you choose. This is choose your own adventure. Of course, I'm talking about the background that I made that I'm very proud of. So today's
should be.
I'm just messing. So for today's entree main course, we're gonna talk about our survivor picks and our primetime picks, and then at the end of the show for our sweet finish, we'll conclude with talking about Thursday Night Football, looking in at the future, immediate future, Thursday, right, and then also the future, maybe some rookie quarterback discussions, and I said I was going to talk about injuries in the first one. There's a couple that stand out to me. Jarvis Landry's week to week, MCL sprain. Bradley Chubb, ankle, rolled his ankle or something like that. Dalvin Cook limped off the field. Tua's ribs were shattered. RIP to his ribs. Sounds like a great barbecue restaurant down in Miami. Russell Gage, one of Atlanta's.
That's pretty good.
Russell Gage's Atlanta's wide receiver 2 got hurt. Amari Cooper during the game-winning drive had to step onto the sideline. So I mean, we're already in week 2. There's even more. I'm not going to cover them. We're already in week 2, and this is just going to be a battle of how healthy these players can stay, and it seems like it's going to be tough. So that doesn't even include like the 15 people that the Baltimore Ravens put on the IR. Okay,
yeah, for real.
So we are going to talk about our predictions so far through week 2. That's including yesterday, but not up to today. So thank you. I believe those claps were for me. So I'm just a little above 500. One game difference of 500 and not. Jay and Andrew, same record. Andrew and Jay, you guys had the same record after week 1, right? And then so the week 2,
we stink. Holy
little improvement.
Not. Wow.
So we already talked about one of these games that we predicted, but let's hit the first slide, Andrew, and we'll cover the rest of them that we didn't. So the Panthers beat the Saints 26-7. You can see here Jay picked the Panthers. Just kidding, he picked the Saints. Jay, why did you? I can't remember. Why did you pick the Saints? Because why did you pick the Saints?
I thought they were a better team. I mean, there was more. Yeah, I mean, good lord. I mean, yeah. Thanks for that welcoming invite. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, genuinely, I guess I should have probably thought a little bit more about Jameis Winston and how trashy he could be. I really thought that the defensive line would be. I thought the offensive line would be able to overpower the Carolina Panthers defensive line. The defense in general for the Carolina Panthers doesn't scare me. Crazy to see what Sam Darnold can do when he has some help. I've been banging the table for Sam Darnold for years, and I kind of look like an idiot until now. He's looking pretty damn good now. So I'll take my wins where I can get them. Clearly, I'm under 500 to start the season, so I need to. But Jameis's picks were absolutely atrocious, and that really was not good.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said the Saints O-line, which everybody says is the best in the league, right?
One of, yep.
Yeah, and they are, right? But I mean, the Panthers played really well. We did talk about some of the Saints. Andrew picked the Panthers because the Saints had like 10 coaches that were out too. So there has to be you look at these players and they're all really young, right? Like we talk about Emmanuel Sanders and Julio Jones in their 30s being old players, So a lot of these young guys, they need they've been brought up on having like a system of people around them, coaches, right? And now when they're in the NFL, they get even more coaching and more support that way. So I mean that probably had a part of it too. But the Panthers front seven played really well. Jameis didn't play well. He was 11 for 20 something, 2 interceptions, 100+ yards. So very, very short yardage throws, pretty much the whole game.
Dude, they had 128 yards as a team, and Kamara had 8 carries for 5 yards. Do you understand how I was salivating, bro, when my lineups locked, and I look at my freaking tournament lineups, and Kamara in 20 entry max is 5% owned? I'm like, oh my god, Kamara 5% ownership is unbelievable. He has 7 points. I mean, what are we doing?
And he got all that on some catches too. So, we can move on to the next one here in a sec. Joe Morgan Fox, the Panthers' defensive end, had 8 QB pressures, and I think a sack or half a sack or something like that. But played really well. So this wasn't a good game though. I mean, it was Saints barely scored once.
Their backup quarterback, I wanted to throw this in there. I don't know if you guys saw, but Ian Book, like normally they, like I mentioned on the last show or yesterday, that again 7 offensive assistants were going to be out for the 12 they normally have. One of those offensive assistants happened to be their substitution guy. So rookie quarterback Ian Book, who's a third/fourth stringer, whatever you want to consider him, was in charge of substitution. So they were having Apparently, they were having issues getting the right players in on offense, getting them out. Their offensive line was, their offensive line, which is normally pretty good, and they were without their starting center Eric McCoy, but they've been pretty good. Andres Pete and Ryan Ramchick are very, very good offensive linemen, and they've been good for a while. But they just kind of got tossed around by this Panthers front seven. And Jameis showed old Jameis tendencies, throwing some ill-advised picks at both halves. This game was a toss-up between both of these guys, but just glad I got the win here. I'm still 4-6, so I'm hoping to do better as these weeks keep going. But I mean,
oh yeah, as we get more information, I mean, it's week 2. The Chiefs just lost to the Buccaneers.
Not ready to panic yet.
The Packers got smoked in week 1 by the Saints. It's week 1 and 2. Let me get some information in here.
Let's go Jared Goff.
Ace is gonna kill it. I mean, obviously, Ace is absolutely unbelievable. Swami over there. So,
all right, hit the next slide.
Let's go to the next game. Yep.
So, sorry, I was able to watch the first half, the first drive of the second half, and then I had to go to work. But I listened to the rest on the radio on my way over. Some things that I was happy about were we had a consistent rushing game for the most part, even though Singletary and Moss both fumbled. Singletary's fumble wasn't recovered; it just went out of bounds. Moss's fumble was recovered. It was still nice to see that the running game, which isn't necessarily a positive in this for this Bills team, had a moment there. If you watch the second play of the game, Devin Singletary runs for a 46-yard touchdown. That boy put his he must have farted a couple of times on his way because he just breezed by everybody. I don't know what happened there. Super excited about the defense. Greg Rousseau, he is Groot. He played phenomenal for the Bills. They had so much QB pressure. Milano, Edmonds, Poyer came in and helped get some pressure too on some plays. Tre'Davious White was sticky on defense, but got targeted a lot. Had a couple of he gave up on one play that almost cost the Bills a touchdown for the Dolphins on Parker, but got bailed out because Parker was just watching the game instead of playing the game. So Josh Allen though. Inconsistent, made half of his completion, so that's not great. But I mean, it was an easy day for him. He didn't have to do much. He just had to make sure the Bills didn't lose the game, and obviously he didn't make too many mistakes. He got intercepted once, but whatever.
That Bills defense is the main reason why I was able to withstand the 50-point outburst from Derrick Henry. They got me 35 fantasy points, drafted him in the 11th round. Glad I took him. Definitely paid off. They had 3 takeaways, 6 sacks. I mean, they just with Tua knocked out super early, Jacoby Brissett just absolutely stunk up the joint. 11 quarterback hits, 9 TFLs. Greg Rousseau returned back to his college stadium. Played at Miami. 2 sacks, 5 tackles, 2 quarterback hits. Just absolutely filled up the stat sheet. Not to mention a defensive touchdown, which love to see. Again, because of fantasy purposes. The Bills absolutely routed them. Thought they'd win this game comfortably. Didn't think it'd be a shutout, but this is their first shutout since they shut out a Jacoby Brissett-led Patriots team back in 2016 when they blanked them 16-0 before Josh Allen arrived on the scene in Buffalo.
It's a good stat.
But huge win for them. Big win. Great way to get back on track. Just got back right at the Dolphins. So hard.
So the Dolphins couldn't protect Tua. They had some nice rushing plays with Miles Gaskin. Mr. Gaskin can run the ball pretty well, but this offense isn't built in a specific way to profit Tua's way of playing, nor Gaskin's way of playing. It's just like they're a high upside defensive team that makes a lot of plays. They're like Xavier Howard is balls out amazing, but Tua didn't push the envelope while he was in the game. He didn't make any plays for this team. The Bills just were like on top of every play. Like there was a couple of plays where they got juked a little bit, but I mean whatever. The Dolphins did nothing with it. The Dolphins attempted 5 fourth downs and missed all of them. They lost a ball on special teams. They got intercepted. They fumbled a ball. So I mean they played sloppier than anything, and the Bills just had their way with it. Jacoby Brissett came in and initially looked better than what Tua did. Jacoby Brissett was just overthrowing the ball. He got picked off, but on a play to Mike Gesicki, if he had just underthrown that ball a little bit, Mike Gesicki would have caught the ball, maybe scored a touchdown. So
it's a tough one right here, Molokola. I mean, I'm taking the Buffalo, but this is good.
On what, land or sea? I mean, right?
Well.
But it's still a buffalo because there's water buffaloes. That's right.
There's water buffaloes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What Ace and Andrew pretty much touched on was pretty much right there on. I mean, this Miami Dolphins offensive line is absolutely trash, and they're pitiful. And Buffalo's able to get pressure on them. It looked like the weather played more of a factor with Miami. We saw a few drops. Honestly, both teams, and I mean Buffalo. If you look at Buffalo, I'm sure Sean McDermott will tell you both teams played rather sloppy. If Buffalo played to their full, to anywhere near their full caliber, I mean, if Buffalo plays this game 85%, this is a 50-0 ball game. Josh Allen was fine, but definitely not up to what he wants to play like. And he said it at the post game that he definitely could have played better. The interception that he had was an absolutely phenomenal play by Xavier. That play was unbelievable. The interception he had on the Stephon Diggs. Slants, had no business making that play. Josh Allen threw it just a tad behind Stephon Diggs, but that was an absolutely phenomenal play by Xavier Howard.
Well, what about that other Stephon Diggs catch you were talking about?
Mossed him, absolutely mossed him, and I like to see that. Like they both got up. Stephon Diggs kind of gave Xavier a little look. They tapped each other on the booty. You know what I'm saying? Nice little camaraderie there. Both of them are absolutely outstanding players that both do outstanding things at their positions. And Xavier Howard is not the guy to shy away from a matchup. He'll go shadow Stephon Diggs, which is not something you see in the NFL. You're seeing it a little bit more now, thankfully, which makes it more fun. But yeah,
we gave up Stephon Gilmore, or we let him go to the Patriots. How about Xavier Howard? You come to another interdivisional team and come to the Buffalo Bills. You could help us stop Tyreek Hill.
He's looking for it out, man.
Hey, how about the?
He wanted out, yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but now they signed an extension. He's there now. The Lions just went right down the field on the Packers, right down the field. It's 6-0.
I was just about to tell you because I had pulled up the screen. The Monday night game has just started. Jared Goff. Jared Goff is 4 for 4 so far. I'll just shout out real quick to Zach Moss. His aunt passed away Saturday. He fumbled on his first drive of the game, and then he came back and scored 2 touchdowns. So
saw that tweet.
Good for you, man.
Even with the 7-0 deficit, Molokola, I'll take the Packers to win by like 2 touchdowns.
We're gonna get to what we picked anyway. We picked them yesterday, Cowboys and Chargers, but.
Yeah. I'll pick
Cowboys and Chargers first.
I think the Packers will win, but it'll be a little closer than 2 touchdowns. And then we'll be picking. We're not picking tonight's game because we picked that yesterday, like Andrew just said. We're picking Thursday night's game. Okay, so this is where I did get a little separation, right? Greg the Leganator put it together for the Cowboys, who and probably shouldn't have, right? I mean, Mike McCarthy didn't know what down it was. Probably he didn't know how far away he was. He didn't know where his kicker was. For the second straight week in a row, we have some stupid ass coach talking about, I don't know where my players are. I don't know where these people are. Apparently, a cameraman was blocking him this time. I don't know, but Greg the Leg hit a 57 yard field goal to win the game. Yeah, I mean, this was a pretty close game. 20-17. So the Zeke looked better than week 1. Tony Pollard had 100 yards on the ground, so he looked awesome too. It kind of sucks that Zeke's not getting all that exposure. Justin Herbert looked fantastic. I mean, he is young and makes mistakes, and is thus made some mistakes towards the end of this game. I think year 4 or 5, Justin Herbert would have destroyed this Cowboys team. But yeah, I mean, Dak didn't do much to lose this game for them. Yeah. Any quick thoughts? Sorry for your loss.
It's okay. Thanks for so happy you're doing well.
You can go first, Andrew. I'm gonna go a little ballistic.
Good night,
I don't know what you're gonna go ballistic about. The thing I tweeted it out before we hopped on here. Because I saw Al Smizzle, a guy that we follow on, who's does a lot of DFS stuff that Jay especially listens to, talking about like Tony Pollard being really good, and they showed the splits and stuff. For people saying Zeke is gone, and Jay and I have mentioned this before, it would be really nice to just, and I'll keep saying it until we see a difference. It'd be nice to see Ezekiel Elliott get some touches that, allow him to get in open space or immediately put him in open space, because he's an elusive player. He's a strong player, and he's fast. And we've seen that he can catch the ball out of the backfield. Like he's very comfortable catching the football. We just don't see it very often because it's not schemed up that way on the offense. But just in terms of the game itself, I thought it was going to be a very, very high-scoring affair, especially on that new field. Chargers are much improved on the defense. I didn't expect the Cowboys to be very good defensively, but I thought offensively they'd be fine, even with Cedric Wilson having to replace an injured Michael Gallup. CeeDee Lamb is one of the most talented receivers in the NFL. From what I saw yesterday, he was all over the field. His ability after the catch is already, like, he's already cementing himself as one of the premier players after the catch in the NFL. If that can keep up, he's in a really secure, nice bag for himself. Amari Cooper, you did mention his injury. Hopefully he's okay, because that's the last thing the Cowboys need. I expect the Cowboys to win 13 games, but I thought this was going to be one they lost. I thought they were going to have the season 0-2, then rattle off wins, but I guess they wanted to get one early and then lose to the Chiefs when they play in Week 11. Chargers come to Kansas City next weekend, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Mike McCarthy settling for a 56-yard field goal was one of the more piss-poor coaching decisions I've ever seen in football, and I can't remember the last time that a coach actually settled for a 50-plus yard field goal and used 3 timeouts that way, and the time management. I can't even. I'm pretty sure that's what you're going to go off on, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, that was absolutely pathetic. You get the ball with a little bit over 3 minutes to go, all 3 timeouts. That last play in particular, the ball was snapped. The Cowboys had a timeout, right? They were just coming off a timeout, coming into a timeout, coming the next play off a timeout. We run the ball and then sit there with our freaking hand, with our dicks in our hands, and we don't do anything. We don't have a second play called. We just came off a timeout. We can't call 2 plays prior and get 2 plays on, and then run one, clock, and then run another one, or just run both. It didn't make any sense to me. He said he had a cameraman in his way. Okay. There's like 8 clocks, bro. There's like 8 clocks. It's a big stadium. It's state of the art. I don't want to hear that you don't have a camera a clock in front of you, and that a camera's in your way, and the only clock that's visible to you. Okay, keep a stopwatch or something. Good Lord. You don't coach the defense. That's Dan Quinn. You don't run the offense. That's Kellen Moore. What in bloody hell are you doing on the sideline, huh? What, eating cheeseburgers? Huh? McCarthy? Figure it out, guy. Good Lord. It was pathetic. And Greg Zuerlein made the kick, so we're not going to talk about it. It's minimally talked about because they won the damn game. Good for them. I'm glad you won. Chargers absolutely shot themselves in the foot every opportunity they had. 12 penalties, 99 yards, 9 of them came on offense. Do you know that your percentage of scoring on a drive where you have a penalty is like 20%? 20%. No matter where you have it, you have it on your own 20 or the opposite 20. 20% chance you're getting points with a penalty. They had 2 where they had 3 penalties on the same drive. 2 touchdowns called back. One of them was a ticky-tack call on Jared Cook. Oh, we didn't even talk about the BS calls in the Kansas City game on freaking Tyrann Mathieu, but I'm not going to get into it. The Chargers should have won this game. It didn't win it. It didn't really seem like either team wanted to win it. For DFS purposes, I was absolutely livid because this was supposed to be the highest scoring environment. 55 total. 55 was the over-under. They scored 37. That Cowboy defense is absolutely atrocious. And to be fair, it wasn't like the offenses played necessarily like very bad. Like I said, Justin Herbert, like Asa mentioned, had a really good game. Justin Herbert looked fantastic. Justin Herbert is going to be, and we all know this considering what he did last year, unbelievable in the NFL. He's going to have a very long career here if he keeps doing what he's doing. Unfortunately, he went the wrong way here. Asa got the dub. Asa took a 2-game advantage now. I think we have one more game to cover, but good for you, Ace. Big time picks, buddy.
Yep. I hit the next side. I think it's the Chiefs game. We already talked about this one.
Blood pressure's high already. Let's get the move.
The next one. Okay, so here's tonight's game. This is the Monday night game that's going on already. 7-0 to the Lions already. Green Bay's driving.
Packers are 40 yards away from a score already. It's Quintez Cephas caught the touchdown, 51 yards on the first drive from Goff to Cephas. So looks like he has a favorite target out there in Detroit. And then
it's like the only target, him and Hawkinson.
It seriously is. Yeah, that's all they got.
Poor DeAndre Swift doesn't get enough love and attention. Oh, R.I.P. to us.
Yep.
Let's.
At least I won something. Survivor.
How do I put you front and center here? Hold on, I'm gonna do that. I don't know how to do that. Oh, there you go. Okay. Speech.
I would like to.
Squid's got jeans.
It took us 2. It took us 2 weeks, Jay, to lose. I mean, I picked the Vikings in week 1 to beat the Bengals. Okay, so that's the Bengals' best win of the season.
Overtime loss. I mean, not the worst way to lose, I guess, but definitely you don't want to go down week 1. I mean, the Cardinals, for what it's worth, should have lost too. They had a 43-yard field goal by the Minnesota Vikings. Again, we talked about it earlier. Yeah, they should have lost.
I didn't give you guys the YouTube video. Can I give you guys the YouTube video on the call? It's hilarious. You guys are gonna die. Okay, here we go. It's absolutely share tab audio. Yep. Okay. This is hilarious. All right, here we go. You guys can see, right? We're good.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. All right.
Snap put down. Joseph, come on! It is gone! No, he missed it. Are you kidding me? He missed it right.
No, he missed it. Joseph, come on! Oh, dude, it was a 37-yard attempt, man. That's just like, I got bailed out. Hey, what a more fitting way to be the actual survivor, though.
Right. You survive on the skin of the football, just going a little to the right. I know as a Buffalo Bills fan a lot about wide right, so I understand and I get it. This is not the first time. If you listen to Marshall from How I Met Your Mother talking about. This is not the first time that the Minnesota Vikings have had
1999 NFC Championship game, Marshall.
have unfortunately felt the bitter taste of defeat. And this is, we have to make as many, football feast references here. So
how about Kyler though? Holy Toledo, man, he looked amazing. He looks great the first 2 weeks.
Kyler looks like he just looks like he's a little kid. Like, you know how they sometimes let the little kid run in the game and then all the other bigger kids like pretend not to tackle him. Like, that's how I feel like Kyler Murray is sometimes. Everybody's afraid to tackle him. He's just running around, having a good time, throwing like ridiculous throws to people. And Andrew Ryan wants to say you're welcome. He did actually say go Raiders and go Cardinals before he left off yesterday. So it was.
He did. Jinxed me, Ryan.
So
Ryan called it too. He was like, he kind of wanted me to lose, Ryan. It's okay.
So maybe what we'll do is we'll restart the survivor picks for next week. Maybe whoever can get the longest streak throughout the year will win. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We're gonna survive this time. We'll make
Okay.
Sunday. We'll make them on Sunday morning. We'll pick them on Sunday.
A quick question, okay? Because if we're gonna restart this, my streak is technically still going. So like, if I say I rattle off like a long 10-game survivor streak, do I still qualify for the win, or is it only like within the certain?
Well,
like, you know what I mean?
Okay, so you are still survived, right? You are still alive, so you still pick like nothing ever happened. When we could tally the points up at the end of the season, we will account for how many times we were eliminated. And
maybe we just leave the little tombstones on screen here in the graphic, and we just make them smaller, so we still have like a remembrance for them.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's the best way to go about it. Yeah,
we'll definitely do that. Okay, so we're gonna real quick get into the last little bit here, and then we will end the show. This is the dessert sweet finish. We are going to talk about our Week 3 Thursday Night Football predictions, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. The Panthers at the Texans, already a touchdown favorite. Texans going to be rolling out Davis Mills, rookie quarterback, against the Panthers defensive line that just took apart the league's best offensive lines. So unless we're all about to be just again completely surprised because it's the NFL, every Thursday Night Football game has been fun and pretty close. So maybe we will be thoroughly surprised here. But the Panthers at Texans, we all pick the Panthers. Should be a pretty good game if you're a Panthers fan, and probably not so great if you're a Texans fan. The Texans confirmed that Deshaun Watson will not be active, even though he's healthy. I don't know when Deshaun Watson's going to play football again. But that might be the saddest end. Like
he shouldn't.
Saddest end to someone's career, but
should not.
Okay, and then we will. I just wanted to talk about the rookie QBs real quick before we ended the show. So there's an obvious answer to who played best last week, and that's Mac Jones. But no one's going to convince me that he's elite or he's great or he's everything this Pats team needed and more. He was 23 for 30 for 186 yards. If you watched his throws, though, in the first half, and that's most of the throws that I saw, it was 2-yard passes, 3-yard passes, 4-yard passes, 5-yard passes. It didn't go past 5. So it was pretty sad. I mean, they're trying to build the offense around him, but when you sign a bunch of wide receivers and tight ends onto this team, you have to have a little bit more of a showy performance. And of course, they whipped on the Jets. So on the other side of that, Zach Wilson, 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He looked completely lost out there, and I feel bad for him. But he. The Jets aren't a good team yet, so I mean, I guess it's okay that he flunked his week 2 assessment. 19 for 33, 210 yards, and he gets a great matchup next week at Denver, so that'll be fun.
Good luck, man.
Mac Jones gets to face off against the Saints. Hopefully, the Saints are a little bit more healthy, so he'll have his toughest defensive matchup yet. Davis Mills came in. For Houston, because Tyrod got hurt, like I mentioned, we'll see him Thursday night. He looked pretty good. Kind of not great. Like, he looked okay. I mean, this is the guy that no one's even talking about. So his first drive ended in a pick, but he was able to lead the Texans down the field for a 63-yard touchdown drive. I'm just gonna keep going. Trevor Lawrence, and then you guys can talk about it real quick. Trevor Lawrence did not look great. He had his first touchdown, I think, right? Was it this week? I can't remember. He got picked off a couple of times, 14 for 33, 118 yards. I mean, he was facing the Broncos defense. So, I mean, you probably did as well as anybody thought he would. Broncos defense is among the best in the NFL, and Vic Fangio knows how to exploit a rookie quarterback at this point of his career. And then Justin Fields, the last guy on our list here. Andy Dalton got injured, which looks like a day-to-day injury. Coach coach over here has said no matter what, Justin Fields is the backup and Andy Dalton is starting. But we also got wind before the game yesterday, which we talked about yesterday, that Justin Fields was going to play more. He was 6 for 13, 60 yards, 1 pick. Yeah, I mean, he used his legs a little bit too. I think we're going to have to get used to that. That being a thing, obviously not as explosive as Lamar, but maybe somewhere closer to what Cam Newton type of athleticism. Okay, I can catch my breath. It's 7-7 Packers Lions. The Packers scored a touchdown, so there you go.
Nice. All right. Well, hopefully that's the beginnings to a very entertaining Monday night game, which we'll all tune into just once we finish up here. But yeah, Justin Fields. I'll say it every time I watch him when he runs the ball. He is a lot quicker than I thought he was. He's so fast around the corner when he turns it. I'd say that's a pretty good comp. He's kind of in between like a Lamar and Cam Newton kind of speed, where he's shifty, but he's not really like the elusive guy. To me, I'm still more impressed with Trevor Lawrence. I know he didn't play particularly well, but the poor guy plays for the Jaguars and their decrepit organization. First drive looked absolutely like an NFL quarterback. His first drive threw a dime piece to which receiver was it? It was DJ Chark in the back of the end zone. Absolute dime, corner of the end zone. A little bit of like almost like a wheel route from the wide receiver slot. Beautiful ball. I still think he has the most upside, and I'm pretty sure nobody would disagree with me with that. Zach Wilson had an awful day at the office. Hopefully that's the worst performance he puts out as a starting quarterback, because I don't wish anybody to play poorly. Those 4 interceptions came on his first 10 pass attempts in the game. Just threw an absolute clunker. So Mac Jones looks pretty solid right now. I think the Patriots, they're not doing a lot to develop him just yet. They're just trying to win ball games, it looks like. But I'm sure the development will come as the wins come. So if they can keep winning, I think he'll continue to play better.
They were gonna win that game regardless. Just let him have fun. Let him sling it a little bit. Let him live up to some of his potential. That's the some of the stuff that I don't get. Even the Texans rolling out Tyrod Taylor. Okay, do it for 6 games and then put Davis Mills in for the rest of the year. Is your draft pick worth it? I don't know, but figure it out. Like let Mac Jones play. Let Andy Dalton. The Chicago Bears aren't making the playoffs. They made the playoffs last year, but now they got it in their head that they're going to make the playoffs again. They're not going to make the playoffs again. So
Tyrod won week 1. So,
Tyrod has done well in Houston, man. Yeah, shit. He's been.
No, you know what I actually found funny, Ace? And I did a little research because I was thinking something similar. Just based on the eye test, it looks like Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence are pushing it down the field more than Mac Jones. They're actually all around the same. The numbers are going to tell you a little differently. When you look at the yards per attempt and air yards per attempt, they're all at around like 6.7. I think number 1 is actually Mac Jones at like 6.9. Zach Wilson is like 6.4, and I think Trevor Lawrence is like 6.4 as well. But I totally agree with you. Like they're pushing the ball down the field and doing it safely are 2 entirely different things. Zach Wilson is letting it rip. I mean, this dude is just out there slinging the damn thing.
Vikings.
Yeah, the Bears can make. I mean, Ace is all over the Vikings. Yeah, Ace is all over the Vikings. But okay, so rookie quarterbacks, right? Justin Fields. The thing about Justin Fields, and I said this in after the first 2 preseason games, we're seeing exactly why he was drafted, and we are seeing exactly why he was drafted where he was, and not a top 5 pick. Even though, in my opinion, he should have been a top 5 pick. The quarterback presence in the pocket and the throw touch is just not there right now. He was 50% from the 50% throwing yesterday, but what is there, and without freaking question, is the explosiveness, the wheels, the athleticism. I mean, this dude, he like you see Jalen Hurts running around, right? And Jalen Hurts, you're like, wow, this dude's an athlete. Like, you want to talk about a comp? He looks similar to Jalen Hurts to me. Jalen Hurts may be a little bit bigger, but speed. He's got speed for days. Can throw the ball still pretty damn well. But right now, as an early comp, he looks a lot like Jalen Hurts did to me at the end of last year. What I would say is Zach Wilson, is Andrew was absolutely right. You guys are absolutely correct. Zach Wilson looked absolutely terrible yesterday. It's going to happen. Their offensive line sucks. Mekhi Becton's out. He's their best offensive line player, and he's out. Bill Belichick could have made – Bill Belichick, if he just played first and second-year quarterbacks, would have like a 90-something% win percentage. So the only one he struggled against is Patrick Mahomes. Who else we talking? Trevor Lawrence looked absolutely unbelievable. A guy that I want to talk about real quick, not a rookie quarterback, but everyone is singing praises for this guy because he looked so damn great and beat the Minnesota Vikings week 1. Just in case anyone hasn't noticed, Joe Burrow has been sacked 9 times in the first 2 games of the season. 9 times. Threw 3 interceptions yesterday. 3 of them. Not 1, not 2, 3 of them. Just saying.
And Jalen Hurts, for being godlike in week 1, didn't play great in week 2.
San Francisco Niners defense is good, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Well, the Eagles use a reverse handoff to try to score on 4th and goal when you have Jalen Hurts. Like,
just get to the edge and run the option, bro. Just get to the edge and run the option and let him handle it.
Yeah,
people are scared. People for some reason are scared to. I mean, you have a blueprint, right? Like, again, it doesn't take a genius, right? People copy what other people do. Has anyone seen what Lamar Jackson's doing in Baltimore? Anyone seen it? I mean, what are we doing? Why are we not doing similar things with Hurts and with exactly
Justin Fields, right? Yeah,
I'm right there.
Do that. Yeah, yeah, I mean,
we've seen where it wasn't sustainable, right? We've seen RG3 flint. I mean, Lamar Jackson is doing it every single week. 3 running backs, all gone, still doing it. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, look at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts compared to Lamar Jackson is big. Jalen Hurts is a big dude. I mean, he's solid. I mean, and he runs it quite a bit. But I'm just saying, like, and Nick Sirianni has done a good job. I'm not gonna. He's only been in there 2 games. We'll see how it comes. And he did a good job in week 1, getting him on the edge, allowing his athleticism to make plays. Joe Burrow, though, I'm just saying, you didn't get him any offensive line help. All I heard is about, we got Riley Reef, and we signed our left tackle to a big. He's been sacked 9 times. 9 times. And he played the Vikings. And he played the Vikings, and now he played the Bears. That's who he's played in 9 sacks.
Okay. Andrew and I are probably going to be wrong that they should have taken Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell, and you are probably going to be right. But just you got a long time to get there, okay? So we'll let you.
Week 1 and 2 dividends.
It was the right pick.
I
just wanted to be right about the pick.
He's probably right on that one, though, but we'll see how it goes. Ryan, you are absolutely right. You have the right idea. We spent an hour with you guys. We had a blast. It's always a beautiful thing talking football. Can't wait until we get to do it together in the same room. Maybe we got to make this Chiefs Bills Sunday matchup a thing. I don't know. I'll have to split my body into 2 and not be at work or something. Thanks for joining in, guys. This is the Football Feast. We are the AJ Sports Show. Ace, Jay, and Andrew coming to you as always. Catch us on Twitter and the YouTube. Hit like and subscribe. We love you guys. Until we see you again. We hope you enjoyed your meal. And here is your bill. You better tip me well. 20% or get the hell out of this restaurant.
Apparently, Peyton Manning made a joke about the Patriots Spygate scandal on the live broadcast.
Peyton and Eli, ESPN2.